What's up, y'all? Welcome to At the End of the Day podcast. I'm your host, Cherie, and I appreciate you for tuning in today. Now, before we get into today's topic, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you can be notified of all the new episodes. And make sure you leave a comment because I truly enjoy hearing from you guys after every episode. What you like, what you don't like, it means a lot to me. Now, for weekly encouragement, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok under the name ATEOTD Podcast. And if you don't have either of those, I do have a Facebook page, so make sure you go like that. If you need someone to talk to, or if there's a topic you want to hear me talk about, feel free to send me an email to ateotdpodcast8@gmail.com. And as I always say, make sure you share this episode with someone because you just never know how much it will help them. Now today I have a special guest for y'all, so stay tuned. All right, y'all. So today's episode, I have a special guest. It is one of my best friends. Her name is Nia. Everybody say, hey, Nia. So pretty much I've known Nia since the 7th grade, which is a long time. And we literally have been friends ever since, never stopped, straight through. And we just pretty much have similar backgrounds as far as like not having our dads in our lives, but for different reasons. So I feel like this episode would be encouraging for people to not allow excuses to stop them from becoming who it is that God called them to be. Yes. So we're going to get into the nitty gritty today. Yes. Okay. Yes. So, one of the things I wanted to start with was sharing the word, like the definition behind the word excuse, because y'all know I love my definitions. So, excuse as a verb is an attempt to lessen the blame attaching to a fault or offense, seek to defend or justify. That's the verb. Now, the noun version of it is a reason or explanation put forward to defend or justify a fault or offense. So, I feel like a lot of times we tend to make excuses about things without realizing that that's what we're doing. And I feel like you and I both, because other people I know that have been raised without both parents, tend to make excuses as to that's the reason why they weren't this. That's the reason why they weren't that. Now, I don't know for you, like, how did you handle not having your dad in your life? Like, did you ever feel like you used that as an excuse to not be who you are now?
I feel like I did, honestly, at certain points and stages in life, without meaning to. I would be further if my father were here. Or I would have this, like that person in the comparison game, if my father were still alive. So I feel like I have done it in the past, particularly during those teenage years. You know, when it's already hard enough.
Right.
And then that's just comparison, period, for people. But it's like you see other people and the dynamics of their families, and you see the moms and dads, and you're like, if I had that, I would be X. Or
right.
I would have made a different college decision. I feel like if my father were here. So I have allowed that to be an excuse for myself behind the scenes, but not in front of the scenes when it comes to executing and getting things done. Because, yes, in my mind, I know it is different when you have both parents. Absolutely, we can't take the value of a father away from a family. But that's not the make or break. And in front of the scenes, people would have never known. But that's why I say behind the scenes, if we want to keep it real.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
I definitely have allowed that to be an excuse throughout the past.
Okay. Yeah. And how old were you when your dad passed away?
I was 8.
Okay.
Yeah, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed 8-year-old. And that is not something I wish for anybody. But there is a beauty behind having an active parent, because he was active. God bless him. That he was very active, but that young age and having to go off of stories, old memories, because I have some, it doesn't compare to those who are blessed to have their fathers that are active in older age, because you get to really learn them for themselves and for yourself, and not have to go off of memories or things that you're told. So, yeah, 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
That's very good.
Right.
Wow. But I think, so like, as you mentioned, your father passed away. Mm-hmm. For me, my dad just decided not to be in my life.
Right.
And because of that, I feel like that's where, now that I think about it, I feel like that's why my family didn't allow me to ever feel like it was an excuse. And they kind of raised me that way, because if I allowed his decision, it wasn't like, like your circumstance where like your father, passed away.
You don't got a choice.
Like, you don't have a choice.
Said,
like,
I
God,
need him,
exactly.
So, thank y'all, but I got to take him now.
Exactly.
With you.
Like, for me, it was just,
right.
So it's like I could internalize that decision, make myself feel smaller, if I allowed myself to be like, oh, he just doesn't want me around. I guess I'm not good enough. I guess I'm not. And it could become this thing. So, like, my family was just very adamant on, he made his decision, but that doesn't mean that you have to lose out on everything. Of
his decision.
Yeah, because it's like, I could allow that to allow me to become somebody completely different.
Absolutely.
And my dad hasn't been around since the first year. So that's, and he was always in and out, but eventually we had to cut that too, because that's toxic.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah. We can go a whole day talking about that toxicity. No. But
so true.
No, seriously. And that, to me, it does hit different, where I say I do thank God in my situation for those 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Because from my memories, nobody can tell me different. My father was very active. My memories are with him there.
Absolutely.
But then I can't imagine for you, him being alive, or even when I think about people that I know, my own husband, you have a person that's alive, that's choosing not to be present.
It's crazy.
And as a mother, my kids are like the biggest, most precious part of they are my purpose in my life right now. Yeah. I can't imagine waking up every day during childhood, especially because that's where we're at, and not thinking about them, not choosing to do for them, not being there for them. That takes a different kind of person. And I'm talking about excuses. We make more excuses for others than we probably make for ourselves. So I make excuses for them, but we're going to choose just to keep praying for them. That's the hard part.
That's all we can do.
That's the hard part.
That is the hard part, I feel like, is making that decision to do that in spite of how you feel.
Right.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I think he missed out because I'm biased. But you have turned out to be beyond exceptional.
Thanks.
And the definition of exceptional, we need what's past that? I don't know. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. That's it. No, seriously, because that's the part for me that you didn't let that be an excuse. Your circumstance being even more what you hear of, oh, they don't even want them. No, you didn't even use that. You're like, his loss, okay. You're still loved. You're still valued. You're still cherished. And I think that's the beautiful part too. Absent family members, whether it's mother, father, grandparents, you name it, when you have enough love surrounding you from others, it can fill that void to an extent that causes you to still be able to flourish and be exceptional, phenomenal, whichever word we're going to use.
Thanks, girlie. I appreciate that. Absolutely. No, but that's very true. Like, having the right people around you, I feel like helps you to endure the things that life hands you. And it kind of stops you from making excuses, because they can't feel it completely because they aren't that person. Right. But that love still is an overflow.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like, even though my father isn't around, like, people stepped up that allowed me, and I'm sure you feel the same way, like, about your family. Like, even though he couldn't physically be here, there's people that stepped up that allowed you to feel like, I don't have to make these excuses. Like, absolutely, I have love and support.
And the realest thing about that, because I know her, y'all. So, but your grandfather was very influential with that. God bless his soul. And then for me, it's my brother who blood couldn't make us any closer. He's been my whole life. He showed me how a man should treat a woman when it came to my sister. He showed me that I am important, that I'm loved, that I felt seen. So whenever you do remove, whether it's the male presence, it makes a world of difference. They have another male figure in that role, and vice versa. If there's a missing female presence, because it does happen.
It does.
Having another female step in that role. A person in general works but it's something about the same sex that's missing because women and men are different. So a woman can only fill but a role of a man, but so much, and vice versa for men for women. So that does make a difference, and we can only just thank God for those family members and those friends and the people who really are in our village that loved and supported us in spite of.
Now, here's the hard part. What do we say to the people that may be listening that don't have any of that, but still we're telling them not to make excuses?
Well, that is the hard part. And, this is just organic conversation. This is like when you put me on the spot. But in all honesty, because I don't want to sound cliche, you can't choose the family that you come from. You can't choose the family that God has given you. And it's a beauty and it's a not so bright side to that all. But you can create your own village. So realistically, who you choose to surround yourself with daily, that will be your village. Those will be, now for the younger generations, put yourselves in certain circumstances. For me, that's one thing we have in common. Outside of absent fathers, the church upbringing. That was a huge role for me growing up. Yeah. Having that community, having those elders, right? And the mothers that are there that became family. You can create family out of any circumstance or any situation, whether it's joining a group, a club. If you like to do stand-up comedy, I don't know why that came to my mind. That is so off. But if that's something you like to do, or whatever it is, you like to cook, you like to draw, you like to play sports, find a community because there's so much out there. There's too many groups for you to be involved with, and try to see if that fits your definition of a village. Because if you don't vibe with them, the energy's not there, you can't do it. But create your own village that you want to be surrounded by.
Now, I want to piggyback off what you just said and add into the fact that finding a community and creating your own community is why we have to tap into God a lot of times to figure out who it is that he wants you to become.
Absolutely.
Because then he'll give you the resources in people, finances, education.
Absolutely.
Grants, whatever you need, he's going to find a way for you to have it because his plan is for you to become that person.
Absolutely.
So that takes away the excuses as well. So I feel like if we focus and kind of tap into God and find out who it is that he wants us to become, then you can create that community and that village to help you not make excuses of look, because then you'll meet somebody else that's going through the same thing.
Absolutely.
9 out of 10. Because everything we go through is for somebody else.
It always is.
Yeah, you always end up that's why it's important to share your testimony.
That is.
Because you'll always end up going and meeting somebody that's I'm going through this, and you be sitting there I just went through that last week. I'm over it. I made it through. You know what I mean?
Not how I did it, but this is how I got through it. Exactly. Through all things, prayer and supplication.
Yeah, for sure.
And God will definitely lead the way and connect you with the right people.
Yeah.
No, it's true. Literally. It's true. Middle school is hard, y'all. So when you find a best middle school years that made it through all the years, we're going to say how many, but that made it through all the years with you, that right there is nothing but God. But I do believe that's the core of our friendship. And it always has been that connection to find God-fearing individuals, particularly younger individuals. That's rare. And we had it throughout our school, but our chemistry just is what it is.
Yeah.
So God will connect you with the people that he wants you to be with. You just definitely prayer and fasting. Yeah. It's not just prayer and it's not just fasting. I do believe both will get you the results faster. So that definitely is a great piggyback because God got to come first.
Has to.
He has to.
At all times.
Yes.
At all times. Okay. So Nia is the friend in my life that sets the tone for the rest of my friends. So the rest of my friends that's listening, she's the one that makes me have to hold y'all to a certain standard. Because, you are a mother, you're a wife, you're a full-time realtor. You do all things, and not just a mother of one, but of 3. You know what I mean? It's already hard with one, but you turned around and had 3. And a puppy. That's pretty much having 4 kids. It is. Okay? So, but yet, you still make time to get everything done.
Yeah.
Without excuses.
No excuses.
How? Like, what actually keeps you going? Because I actually want to know. Because you make it look easy.
For one, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry to the other friends because I don't even know how I do it some days. No, honestly, I do know how to do it. We figure it out. Honestly, day by day, I figure it out. Every day brings something new. Every day, and especially the dynamic of children. And I think that's the beautiful part about kids, and also the part that holds people off from having kids. It brings uncertainty. Every day can be something different, whether it's an argument, whether it's a problem with amongst each other at school, or them figuring themselves out. Because we're figuring ourselves out as adults, handling little people, figuring themselves out who think we have it all figured out. Where it's like, if only you knew, buddy, that I'm just creating a little map for myself, because you can't even go through this path because this is not your path. So, yeah, we just do it day by day.
That's deep. Hold on, pause. I never really even thought of that. Like, because as a teenager, you are trying to figure out yourself.
And that's even the harder part.
And you think your parents know everything, but they too. Like, I'm grown now.
Yeah, right.
So now I understand.
We still
shout out to my mother, Stacy, real quick. But, you know, like, I'm still trying to understand, like, yeah, I guess, like, when she was my age, she was trying to figure it out herself.
And then I'm sure in her phase of life where she is, she's still figuring things out with where she is. Like, we grow, we evolve, and we do better by the things we go through, by the things we learn. But you can never master having it all figured out. I think that's when God brings you home, because you don't need him if you got it all figured out. Oh, yeah. So to answer that question, how do we get through it all? One, prayer. It's always going to come back to God, y'all. So if y'all don't want to hear that, y'all might want to log off.
They want to hear that it's a Christian podcast, and y'all already know.
Okay. Because I hate to keep beating it on your head. Right, but it's like it's really that simple as much as it's that hard. Because I can easily say it, prayer, but then when I don't pray, I feel the difference. Because there's days I'm like, did I pray today? Oh, did I read my word? Because I do read my scripture. I got like the 180 some days. I'm doing good with my scripture. I actually read the scripture for the day. But you have to, if nothing else, pray. Right. Because if you seek him first and acknowledge him, he will direct your paths. The Bible verse does not just say it to say it. Right. So very heavy on the prayer. My kids don't even leave the house without us praying because we need the protection. Outside of prayer, list. You need a list. You stop trying to operate off of this beautiful brain. Our brains can only do but so much. And unfortunately, technology, as much as it's a blessing, it is starting to take away from brain power. For a lot of individuals. I agree. And I don't want to be one of those individuals, but unfortunately, it's true. We rely on it so much. So I have to create lists. I will wake up in the middle of the night thinking about something that I did not do the day before. And now it's on my mind. I'm up, I'm tossing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get this done. I can't get nothing done in the middle of the night. It's 3 a.m. I can't call that client. I can't, I could respond to the text, but I feel like that's just a little too early or late, whichever way we look at it. So I do make lists. Okay. And I try to stay consistent with the notes on my phone. If it's for the day, if it's for work related, I have it on a notepad. Because for one, if you don't feel productive in the day, when you're an entrepreneur, it makes you feel like, why am I doing this? So if I have a physical list that I'm looking at and it's telling me, I have it from kids stuff to family stuff to work stuff. I'm crossing that list off. I feel not only productive, but I'm being productive because my list is being tackled. So prayer, my list, I could not do it without. I don't want to say it that way, because you can do anything, do all things through Christ who strengthens you. But I feel like I could not do it without John, my husband. Having that partner. They're high school sweethearts, by the way. I just want to put out there one of my favorite love stories of all time. But go ahead. He looked out a little disclaimer right there. I am a cheerleader of the two. He met me in my good days, and he's getting the better ones. But what can I say? I truly, my head goes off to the single parents. Because whether it's by choice or whether it's by force, it is not a joke. He helps create balance. Even being able to do this segment right now, I could have had the kids with me, right, and running around. We would have heard them for sure. He's like, no, you go ahead. Take care of that. Like, he respects my busy schedule. He respects the things I have to get done. there's no such thing as a perfect marriage, but I really believe God has given me that perfect half to help balance the load, because it is a load. But with that being said, I figure it out day by day. Some days it looks like I'm on it. And some days I'm not even wanting to get out the bed. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the weight of the world. How do I handle it?
Right.
Some days I got to take to myself and just kumbaya, get it together. And then some days I'm like, I can get 100 things done and still have energy to do the next few tasks. So I definitely feel like it's a day by day thing. And to the grace of God, I just get it done.
Yeah, she really does. I really can't emphasize this enough. Like, I'm not even playing with y'all. She really does a lot.
Thank you.
And that's why I literally just try to like fit in where I could get in. Because she'd be like, well, the kids got this, but we going to be like, I'll just sit at the kitchen table. I don't care. I'll hang out. Like, I don't care. But like, you really do be busy.
No, but that goes right with no excuses. You make time for the things and the people that matter. I am that friend, but this is all adult friendships. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure it's different dynamics with children and other facets. I may not see you for a month and a half. I may not see you for 3 months. Doesn't mean we're not texting or, hey, you good? Okay, cool. But you have to respect people where they are. And that's what I love about you. You make excuses for me when I don't for myself. I'm like, I feel like a horrible friend. I've been MIA. I didn't respond to the text message. You know I'm guilty. It's like a whole 3 weeks later and I picked it up like, I'm so sorry. And yeah, you might still see me posting on social media or I don't know if it's as active or not. I don't get into all that. But it's still, because that's my leisure time sometimes. Sometimes it's business oriented. You do not fault me. You don't fault any of your friends from what I know of their lives and their lifestyles. And that's the beauty of friendships, is showing up as a real friend. So y'all, if you're a friend or if you feel like you have a friend, the biggest thing is that they're going to be there for you when you need, but you're there for them when they need. That's just what it boils down to. Because if you need me, I'm there.
But I agree, but I also feel like I'm able to give that grace and meet you where you are because you're open about where you are. I feel like if you're somebody that doesn't communicate, like, hey, I'm busy, I got a lot going on, or like really get into it. Like, I have friends that are in school right now, like I know this. Right. So I understand that, like, we're not going to hang out. She's also a mother. Like, you know what I mean? Like, once you understand what people are carrying, you kind of are able to meet them where they are. But when everybody at, like, oh, I got time for everybody in the world but you, it's just like, wow.
Yeah, and that's why I say you make time for the things that you want to make time for. So I could make excuses all day of why I'm not able to, right? But at the end of the day, I will fit in that time. I will, if we got to squeeze it between 4 to 6 p.m. and that's our time slot, you know, you still do the things that you need to do for the people that matter. So, but that is so true though. Communication is key. And it's not always easy. No. Particularly when you feel like you may have the weight of the world or just a heavy workload or a big to-do list. It can be hard to communicate with those people who do love you most and who cherish you most. And they want to be there to support. They need to know how to support. You may not even need support. You might just need a break. Like, you might just need a hot minute. But you have to learn how to communicate with those people who matter most. And perhaps that you have to reel it in of realizing who the people are that matter most. Because it can't be everybody. No, I'm sorry to say it that way. I can't tell you and the whole family. I don't got many friends, y'all, so that's actually kind of easy. But you have to choose those few, especially the ones, the reacher outers, the ones that show you, that show up, that do care, that give you grace. Just tell them, I can't today. I feel overwhelmed. Communication is key. Absolutely.
Now, when you have days where you have so much going on, do you ever have days where you're like, I'd rather just lay around and do nothing today?
Oh, absolutely. And I take those days. Especially all kids in school now. What? I just had one of those days last week. I don't take them every day because that's when you get into a rut. And then that's if you're too unproductive for too many days in a row, at this point, what are we doing? But then I'm a little hard on myself. So if you do have to do that, take your days. Maybe it's called a vacation, I think. That's what people might call it.
I think that's what they call it.
Yeah. But I just had one of those, I had a crazy Monday. It was one of those nail biting, how was this day going to end type Mondays, literally last Monday. And I was going to still go into the office, continue my schedule normal. And I actually had a colleague of mine say, Nia, you really deserve a day. You do a lot. I see you and you do a lot. Why don't you just take tomorrow? Everything will be settled today. Tomorrow can be a you day. It's self-care, whether you want to lay around, clean your house, do what you want to do, but make it about what you want to do for that one day. Your clients can wait one day. The family can't wait. And that wasn't put on the side. I still had to cook dinner and do all that stuff. But I took that day. And it's a reset. That's what I look at. I call it a reset day. It's okay to get in funks. Just don't stay in them.
But see, I think that's the difference between making excuses, but also giving yourself grace. I feel like there's a difference between the two.
It's a huge difference.
Because sometimes if you making excuses, that means you just keep going on and on and on about why you can't do something.
You stay in that.
And you stay in it.
I can't because of this or because of that. Or it's different than I just need a day. Yeah. And then I'm going to get back to what I know I can do. I just need a day. Yeah. That's it. That is so true. That's a good point. We got to give ourselves grace.
We do.
And it's so hard. We're the hardest on ourselves than we are for others, which that word can correlate. I give others grace, but I also make excuses for others. So it can go hand in hand. But when it comes to yourself, you definitely can allow giving yourself grace turn into making excuses. And we have to know where that line crosses to say, nope, at this point, now, is it too broad to say I'm being pitiful? Like, I don't know. Because that's what I talk to myself, y'all. I'm like, you're being pitiful. You need to get up. You need to get it together. You gave yourself X amount of days. Typically for me, it's 1 day, maximum 2. Because after 2, I really am like, what's going on? You got to do something. Yeah, you got to know that line.
And that's the thing. I feel like I give myself normally like a day to be, like, even when something bad happens.
She does a lot.
I do.
Yes.
But it's like, anytime I have a day, like, I'll give myself that. But I try not, like, if I'm having a bad day. Because I like to let things be a domino effect. Okay? I'm like, this didn't go great over here, so we're not cooking, we're not cleaning, we're not like now everything's not getting done because
I love you.
The whole thing is thrown out. Okay, we're gonna take this day, but it's like I try my best not to allow it to become a bunch of days because then it's excuses. That's true. Because I can't let Monday impact Wednesday
and that part. And you know what I mean? Say this is now where we draw the line. Yeah,
that has to be.
When do we let go and let God and really build up and move on and figure it out from here? So take your day or two if you needed to. But after that, and the domino effect is so real. Oh my gosh, you hit that, but that's real. That is so real. Because I'm guilty of it too. It's like negativity easily jumps other things into negativity. Same way positivity radiates positivity. So when you have that one negative thing that happens, it's like your mental, it's a mindset. It's negative. It's not, and you're not meaning to be a negative person. It's just that negative circumstance is now impacting how you're thinking and feeling that causes everything to look negative. So I definitely, girl, you hit the nail on the head.
And it'd be hard for me to like work hard on constantly doing something. I just spoke to you earlier about like lacking consistency. And I lack it because I have been somebody that can lay around and do nothing for days and never feel guilty. Do you hear me? I've been like this since the womb.
Well,
like if my
I mean, you kind of should.
No, literally, my mom used to go to the hospital because she didn't feel me move for days.
Oh wait, you meant that kind of not do anything?
Yeah, like I can lay around, and I think last night I watched A Different World for probably like 4 hours.
See, but here's
that's
my
me.
Thing,
I can do that. So, it's not okay. It's not productive because I had things to do. But
okay, and that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's
what
like
makes it not okay? Is it because you know you have things to get done, and then you're not prioritizing?
Yes.
And then that to me
because I laid there. I knew I had
right because I was going about the job. You said I was about to make an excuse for you, but I'm like, okay, when you said you had
that's
what I
mean.
I can't do it.
I had stuff to do, and I laid there anyway. Granted, it was getting to the episode of Whitley and Dwayne's wedding, and that is one of my favorite episodes of the entire series. But at the same time, and those who know.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. So
I have watched A Different World probably 100 times. Every episode at the same time.
And you still said, I gotta lay here.
I gotta lay here and watch this.
Now, that's okay, so they don't know what day it is, but that was a weekday. So you worked all week.
I know.
You get up early. Give yourself that one night to be like, this is it. And then look, boom, you back at it today.
See, I struggle with the line.
You see? It's the line. And here's the craziest part. We can't tell nobody their line. You have to know when I am at the point of making too many excuses for myself.
Right.
I either do or I don't. And I haven't been doing. So therefore I'm don'ting. That's not even a word. And this is now where I got to pick it up and get it together. But you, whoever's watching this, you, myself, we had to set the bar for what we want to achieve, what we want to be done in any aspect of life. And when we're not meeting that bar, we had to determine how we go from there. That, whether you give yourself grace or whether you make excuses, you have to know what you're doing. And it's all about keeping it real with yourself. That's the hard part. But gets you a good friend.
That's the hard part.
That even I try to make excuses for her. You said I just did it? And she's like, no. Because
She tried, but it wasn't going to work.
And then I'll be the first one. Okay, you were right. Even though you deserve a rest day, you could have got the work done and then rested. You should have. And these are the could have, would have, should have. So how do we build up from
For real, I was about to do it again today. But I didn't do it because I knew I had things to do. I knew that was the cutoff. I can't do it.
Yeah. So what, as far as productivity for you, because the podcast is just one aspect.
Yeah.
I ain't going to go through the list. This woman takes care of everyone, friends, family. You are just a caring, giving, loving, genuine spirit. I know those who watch the podcast have been able to see you be real and talk and be authentic, even when it was on Spotify, right? This is just the genuine you're getting, y'all. I promise you. I listen to her and I feel like I'm talking to my best friend or listening to my best friend over the podcast. But how do you prioritize the things you need to do outside of just a standard get up, go to work, that part? How do you hold yourself accountable for the extra things that you add to your plate, whether it comes to the show, whether it comes to priorities, because you help people so much?
I think that's a good question. I feel like for me, I've been trying to still learn that, to be honest. Because for me, it still comes back to consistency. Especially with the podcast. Like, you have to be consistent.
Absolutely.
So I try to designate days for the podcast for social media, which I'm not the best at. Still trying to get better at that. But designating days to post what to post. When I get off of work, I try to prioritize what I want to do. I normally make Mondays my days to do nothing.
Okay.
And I try to designate days to have Bible study, days to work out, days to cook, because I hate cooking. I do it well, but I prefer to just go grab. Like, the getting off of work, I done spoke to people all day. They done been in my face all day. And you asked me to stand over a stove now. I want to sit down.
That's it. And I don't want the seat in front of the stove.
I want to cut up nothing. Like, I just want to
take a seat, baby. No, I just want to eat.
Yeah, I just want to eat and go chill. Right. But I also understand that I'm on this weight loss journey, so it's I understand I can't just grab food and go. And that's not the best for me. So I try to prioritize days where it's okay, I don't cook on the days that I'm working out.
Absolutely.
Because I know that when I'm coming home, in order for me to work out, I gotta do it immediately. There can't be I'm gonna cook. By the time I get done cooking, I'm not gonna work out. So I literally try to designate days based on that.
Right.
But just prioritizing the episodes this season, I tried to be intentional with the schedule of knowing
keywords, intentionality.
Yeah. I really did. I tried to know which episodes I was going to talk about in advance. So, do you think people are aware that they use excuses to procrastinate?
Do I think they are aware?
Yeah.
Awareness is point of view. So I can't say if they're aware. I'll make it personal because I'm big on look. I can't say what somebody else does. Definitely, for me, it's easy to use excuses to procrastinate. Absolutely, because you're going to have a reason of why you should or shouldn't do something. So I feel like they go hand in hand.
They do.
Kind of like with giving yourself grace and also knowing that line of excuses. Those are actually, was it an antonym? When it's opposites?
Yes.
Grace versus excuse. I feel like
come on, AP English.
Hey, Mr.
Lowika. Lowika.
Taking it back. And you know it's powerful when we both remember the name of the teacher. Right. And I forgot your setup that I already seen not even a year ago. Okay, with that being said, I think procrastination and excuses are synonyms. They're synonymous. They go hand in hand.
Right.
For sure. I feel like without one, you wouldn't have the other, and vice versa.
I agree. I feel like that's the same thing with like procrastination and consistency. Like they kind of, if you procrastinate, then you don't have consistency.
Absolutely.
And that's what I also feel like I'm working on, because I'm always just like,
we are all the work in progress.
It'll get there, but I don't know why I love to do things so last minute. Like I thrive. I thrive off last minute, y'all. I'm trying to tell you, because the one time I was in high school, I had every paper I have written has been last minute.
Oh, absolutely.
And every paper, not trying to toot my own horn, but every paper I have written, I've gotten an A.
Exceptional.
Literally gotten an A.
We said AP for a reason.
Hello, AP English.
We're in the same boat with that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
It's not a good.
It's not good.
Well, is it? Really, because here's the way I look at it. Who set that standard to say you should do things by a certain time frame? If you have a due date and it's in by the due date, you did what you were supposed to do. But the reality of the stress that procrastination puts on you has to be.
That's the problem. Yes. Because I agree.
We're in the same boat. We're probably co-queen procrastinators, actually. You know, birds of a feather flock together. The problem with it is the pressure it puts on me. But even though I'm in the same boat with you, I feel like those things that I put together more last minute, that's not overly prepared or overly rehearsed, or it works out better for me because it's more authentic. It's more genuine. It's not I have a speech and this is how it's going to go, if it's that, or if it comes to projects or client-based stuff. Now that I will say I've gotten better with my business, because if I do not work ahead at this point in my life with everything on my plate, and this is just business related, not about anything else, I will become too overwhelmed and it cuts into different aspects of my life. For example, I could have a lot of time with my family, but I didn't do what I need to get done for my client. I have more than one client. There's multiple clients. So now you have to prioritize getting this done in order to get this done, in order to be able to enjoy the time that you want to enjoy. So I have found my consistency with my business has definitely gotten better over the years. It's the other aspects of life that I'm like, it'll get done. It'll get done.
Yeah, that's how I feel about like the podcast. I cannot procrastinate.
No, and you're doing wonderful.
But like last season, everybody that's close to me saw me running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and I still showed up for everybody.
And how? That part,
I have no idea how.
That part,
but you did. But I would like start writing my notes Monday through Thursday, record on Friday, edit all day Saturday and Sunday, and then drop it Monday, and then start the next episode. And this year, this season, I was like, that's what caused me to be burnt out. I set myself up for that. Right. I really did. So this season, I was like, we're not doing that. No. Like, I want to be episodes ahead. And when it launches, then we already have some in the queue. We're good to go. But it's been easier for me to focus on not procrastinating with the podcast, which is kind of like you with the business, than it is with everything else. And I feel like now I'm trying to get to a place where everything else is no longer procrastination.
And it's a step-by-step. And the fact that you had tackled... I mean, y'all, she is on it this season. Well, she's on it every season. But the procrastination has disappeared with this podcast. The consistency has been key. And I truly believe the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So the fact that for me, for example, with my business, for you, for example, with the podcast, we were born procrastinators. Like, I don't even know how that happens, but because I know throughout, whether it was elementary, I remember elementary, middle school, high school, college. Oh my gosh! Don't let discussion board due on Sunday, 11:59 p.m. and I am doing it at 10:30 p.m. and it's perfection.
But I think what it is though, because I don't want people to think that like
we're not.
Oh my gosh, like they're just on the same page. Like me and Nia's birthdays are really not that far from each other.
No.
So I think that has a lot to do with it. To be honest, like you're a cuss, but I'm a cuss. On my side. Okay, we're very much like around. Symmetry, so I feel like that's why we tend to, and our middle names are the same, not spelled the same, but it's the same.
You always do that, and it throws me off because I know it, but I have to remember it, and that aspect right there. Yes,
it's not
I messed it up with my daughter, but
yeah. So it's just like, I feel like we're just so much in sync that it's like, of course we're both going to be procrastinators.
We're going to get it done.
Yeah.
But we're starting to change with that new leaf. So the fact that you see it, you acknowledge it. I see it, I acknowledge it. I've been implementing it in my business now for the last few years. You've implemented it into your podcast. You can only now let it resonate in every other aspect of life and vice versa. Because you will see the fruits of your labor. Oh, when it's actually the night you have to release and you're ready and you already have it done and that weight that's not on your shoulders and now you're still showing up for people because it's you, but you don't have that little voice in the back of your head. Because I remember, y'all, she came to my kids' event and we were so excited. And I said, okay, well, what you doing after? I got to get home to do this podcast. I just came strictly for this and that's it, but I got to go. But you still showed up.
Yeah.
I feel like once you see the results, particularly in this aspect, is going to go into every other aspect because it's pulling me for sure in every other aspect of life, even if it's down to food prep for the week. Like that is pivotal, and that's minor. Or if it's staying on top of laundry, or if it's having things. It never ends once you have children either. It doesn't end no matter what because we always get dressed and we always undress.
I hate clothing. Now I could throw laundry in the washer all day. Don't ask me to fold it though.
Honestly, I don't even want to put it in the dryer because I know I'm gonna have to fold it once I'm done.
Yeah, and I know my mom and my brother, they probably listen to this right now. Like, if only we could tap into this episode and tell all of Cherie's business. But like, I literally cannot stand having to just like fold my clothes.
I love it.
Most times I'm just like, hey Trey, can you put it in the dryer? And he'll do it because he's OCD. But for me,
you can't let it sit in the water and wetness because then it has a smell and then you gotta wash it.
And that's what he'd be like, you just gonna let it sit there? And I'm like,
I was.
Down
Do you need to wash it?
Like doing it.
And you know what I think that is, and I know this is side note, it makes a difference when it's downstairs. Because if I had a top floor, because that's where the clothes are, if I had a top floor washing machine, life would be so much easier. It's right there. Now, folding still is not getting answered because I feel like if I wash, I dry, somebody else can fold. Clothes do not get folded for about 2 to 3 weeks post drying in my house, but at least they're clean. Like you can go to it, but you can get to it.
I feel like that's the same thing with you talking about being right there. That's the mindset I try to have with like my weight loss journey. So like I have everything I need to work out at home, and I did that because for me, the coming home from work, changing my clothes, driving to the gym, stretching. That part. Then I gotta work out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Then I gotta do the post workout because you being on Olympical is not just the workout. So then I'm doing the post workout. Then I gotta drive home, and then I still gotta cook. That's like almost 2 hours out of my life.
It is.
So then it's like I tend to guilt myself when I sit here and I am watching A Different World, and I'm like, you could have did 20 minutes on that stair stepper.
While watching A Different
World. So that's why I've been trying to, that's why when I said earlier, like I'm trying to learn how to be more consistent and tricking myself to be more consistent. I feel like that's what I've been doing, is being like, tricking my mind into like, yo, you could have did that already. Well, like it's right there.
You say that. So the book that I just finished.
What's it called?
Atomic Habits. it hits on everything you said, which I think also was my eye opener. Like, you can do this. I'm not going to be a spoiler alert. That's how you say it. Spoiler alert or alert, whatever. So Lord would be happy about that English moment.
No, he would not.
That book, though, it not only is it engaging, he gives real life circumstances. James, oh my gosh, it's because I'm trying to think of the name. Atomic Habits. Google it. It's only one book, Atomic Habits. It breaks down the psychology of building up the habits that we need for one to be successful, but that we desire. Because nobody, well, I hope nobody wants to not be great and excel in every aspect of life. But Atomic Habits, I'm telling you, it all comes down to habits. It all comes down to mindset. And you just hit that. You had to trick yourself into thinking, oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. Mm-hmm. I feel like Atomic Habits, that's a must read for you. Mm-hmm. I could read it over and over again because you always get something new every time you revisit something. Just like a show. You will get something new every time. But to anybody who is battling with making excuses, wanting to change their habits, because excuses go hand in hand with habits. Mm-hmm. You only make excuses because it's a habit. Or, well, let me not say that. Excuses tend to conflict with the things that you know you need to do. Okay. And you know you need to get done, right? Because what else is an excuse? Right. Habits are the biggest thing that cause us to do the things that we do. Atomic Habits, y'all, thank me later. It is a must read. And I'm going to give you my copy because I literally just read it. And then you're going to not make notes. And I'm going to order you your own to make notes because that's how good it is. It is so, so good. So I do encourage Atomic Habits that hits on everything we're discussing. Okay. And you can't make excuses to an extent because we give ourselves grace. You stop making excuses naturally once you read Atomic Habits.
Now, I will say this. It's not good that I'm probably about to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Oh, God.
I think it is extraordinary that you and I are both procrastinators, but we're, like, excelling so well in life.
That part. Yeah.
That I think is what makes it hard to stop procrastinating, because if you look at us, it's like, it's all great. Like, why would they stop procrastinating?
But imagine how much further we'd be if we didn't procrastinate.
And that is you hit it right on the sentence. That's the thing that makes it be like, you can't help but think that, though. No, when you're absolutely. In it, you're just like, if I'm excelling already by procrastinating, I could enjoy life, be further, and not have to procrastinate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the only reason that I feel as though that's something I need to change. Because if you're fine, if you don't have an issue with the things you do, then there's no need for change. I have already implemented not procrastinating, but when it comes to every aspect of life, I just really think, how much further would you be? How much more time would you really have in a day? Because we all got the same 24 hours. Mm-hmm. But how much more time would you open up to be able to focus on different things? And I know we keep saying procrastinating and there's different things. You gave a prime example. For me, working out, my schedule's a lot more. Our schedules are crazy. Mm-hmm. My day starts early, but it needs to start earlier. I feel like 6:30.
I feel that same way.
And let's be real. They always say those 5 a.m.s do pay off. Oh. I feel like I need a 4:30 a.m.
5? Who said that?
It's a quote. Somebody said it. I'm not going to take their words from them. Because somebody else said it.
I don't receive
5 a.m.s
I don't receive that. I don't know about that.
You see?
I'm trying to aim for a 6:30.
Okay, that's fine. But then here's the thing, too. It's all about balance. You can, but it may not be the healthiest. Say I'm going to be a 5 a.m.er. But then realistically, you work better at night than you're up till 12 a.m.
See, that's me.
And then you got to keep going and you're like, oh, only 5 hours of sleep. You need sleep. So realistically, if you're a later worker, then it's okay to start later because you're going to work later. But you have to adjust your day, map your day, plan your day.
Is this in this Atomic Habits book?
That part was not.
That was all you?
That was...
Oh, that was a Nia Mullins. That was a Nia Mullins edition. That is an epiphany for me because I really be feeling guilty.
No, you can't.
But I'd rather stay up. I get it from my grandmother. Like, I'd rather stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Now, I did see, well, I'm always reading. I'm always reading something. If it's not an article, a book, even if it's just an article, because that's where the real knowledge is. You can see it and learn, but it's something about, they hide all the real truths in books. But I saw something about how everyone's brain is wired differently. Mm-hmm. Some people are more productive when they first wake up. Mm-hmm. Some people are more productive when it's a few hours in the day during lunchtime. Some people are more productive strictly at night, and that's just how they work. You have to know you, be true to you. Don't try to fit into that. There's no cookie cutter square. Mm-hmm. There's no to success. Mm-hmm. You have to, if you're the circle, the square, the triangle, you figure out what works for you and stick with it. You are a late nighter, that's okay. 5 a.m. ain't gonna work for you. But me, I'm in bed by 10 p.m. There's no reason I shouldn't be up at 5.
Oh my God, I couldn't go to bed at 10 o'clock.
I'm in bed. I didn't say I was asleep. And then if it's anything past 10, I am mad at myself. Even on the weekends, y'all, we getting older. Okay, I could keep going about that one. But you just stay true to yourself. 6:30 is still awesome. If you don't have proper sleep, your productivity during the day is not going to be at its peak. So I would say if 6:30 is your goal, aim to be in bed by 11. And you're working out now. You have to. You got to rest if you want your body to have the results you want it to have.
This is why I can't wait to be a full-time entrepreneur so that I can just work until 1.
Okay, right. That's the different part.
Wake up at 8.
Now let's talk about that.
You know what I'm saying? Because the moment I get to do that, your girl got to be at work by 8.
That's the part.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And I got Lola. That's my child. Therefore, she's a dog. Not actually a child, but she's my child. Y'all get wrong.
She almost made it on this episode.
She almost did. She tried it. She never been on an episode before, but tried it today.
Oh, God. She got that good energy. She said, well, I want a part of that.
But it's just like, I would love, like, that's my goal, is to get to that place where it's like, I can
make your schedule.
Yeah, I make my own schedule. Be on my own time.
That is actually one of the hardest untruths I had to learn in entrepreneurship. I had to get more strict with my schedule because it's so easy to get on a tangent, and just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're really getting things done. And that's my problem. That it can be my problem. It doesn't. I can't say it still doesn't happen, but I choose to go to bed earlier because I know realistically I got to get the kids up early no matter what. So that aspect right there, I'm like 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. Thank God for hubby Josh, because he does a lot of the earlies with them. But even then, if 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. is the time that I know they need to be up, I really need to be up 30 to 45 minutes prior to them just to get things done for them. But then when we talk about health, self-help, having that quiet time, that time with God, is nothing like hearing God's voice first thing in the morning. And I feel like that's when he connects with me most, because he naturally wakes me up. I just don't get up out of bed. Because we have to be clear. I wake up at 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m. Between 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., it is a thing. And God wakes me up, and I believe he's trying to talk to me. Oh, yeah, and I have to be more disciplined with getting out of the bed.
Yes.
Walking to whatever prayer designated area that I have, for whoever else, make your own, and getting in tune. Taking that time. That's my problem. Instead, I'm laying there like, God, I just need 15 more minutes. I just need 30 more minutes. I look at the clock. I'm like, it's 3. I can get 3.5 more hours. What are we doing right now? So waking up and getting up are different. But we need to get up whatever time earlier. As an entrepreneur, that makes it hard. I don't take naps. I wish I could. I know people who say they do. They wake up at 3. They take a nap around noon. Girl, I wish they could create siestas in the United States. Why is Spain the only one on it?
Everybody that knows me,
she is going to take her nap.
I'm going to take a nap.
No, you want to take a nap.
Every single time.
And I used to take naps. I used to. High school days was the best.
Well, I also noticed that when I stay on my supplements, because I feel like it's a deficiency. So, like, if I take vitamin D, I stick with my vitamin D. I don't need a nap. I don't even feel the need to have one. But when I'm not staying up on those, I'm going to take a nap.
And she just hit another point. You can't make excuses for self-help. And You are so pivotal. Y'all, she is a wealth of knowledge. This is my real doctor. Like, seriously, the doctor could tell me one thing, and I'm calling Dr. Ree to find out if what they said is even right. Tell me I'm not lying. I sent a picture of a prescription, like, does this look right to you? Should I take this? Like, what do you think? Wealth of knowledge. Health is wealth. And that's why I said you have to make time to sleep. So if 6:30 is not your time and it's 7 a.m., work with something. If you say you want it to be 6:30 and it's currently 7:45, make it 7:30. Do that for a week and a half, 2 weeks. Make it 7:15. Do that for however long. Work in increments. It's okay to get slowly to your goal, but know your deficiencies. Know what vitamins, because you got me on that. I'm taking D3 now religiously, magnesium.
Heavy on the magnesium. I done told y'all. Put me on that magnesium. If you don't know, go watch them Health is Wealth episodes.
But when you learn those things about those vitamins and the supplements and what it does for you, and especially us. Our people. We love all people. We have more deficiencies, unfortunately. We do. When it comes to food related. The sun is our greatest vitamin. Where we live, we may not get that year round. So we do have to take supplements, the D3, and making sure that we stay on top of make sure our bones stay strong. And you have gotten me on that. So just know your body. Take your nap if you need your nap. And don't feel guilty about your nap. Even if it's a power nap. 15 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't know how long your naps are. I'm actually afraid to ask. How long are your naps?
I still take college naps. That's what we call them.
Okay, what is that?
Those are 2 hours.
That is bad.
It pretty much is. And it's crazy because they had gotten to a point where if I take the 2-hour nap, I can actually wake up on time the next morning. Okay, but when I don't take the 2-hour nap and then I do go to bed, I feel way more sluggish in the morning.
So then how much sleep do you get at night? I feel like you don't sleep. That's why I'm asking this, but I don't know.
I feel like I get like 6 or 7 hours.
Okay. But they say we're supposed to have 8. So
that's what they say.
They say a lot.
Who they?
We're going on a different tangent. Like, well, y'all getting a whole nother behind the scenes right now.
But I feel like also like I'm trying to focus more on going to bed, waking up early, all those different things, because I feel like God is trying to take me into where I desire to be.
Yes.
And I can't go into my next feeling the way
you feel.
Yeah.
You have to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
In order to get comfortable.
So I had to do things differently. That's why I like mapping out this whole entire season all the way down to how many episodes, what day, when I'm editing. That was important because this can't blow up to the platform that I want it to go with me being inconsistent, with me being, just literally burnt out. Right. Like, it can't be like that because I do everything.
No excuses.
I do the notes, I do the recording, the editing, the releasing, the social.
I witnessed it. Yeah. I had my behind the scenes for the first time. My hat goes off to you.
Thank you.
She does a lot.
All right, y'all. So I feel like moral of the story is that if you are struggling with excuses, the best way to stop making excuses is to gradually start making the changes. Absolutely. It's not going to happen overnight because you didn't become like this overnight. You gradually became this person. Definitely. Lord knows I did. Yes. So therefore, you gotta have to set small, realistic goals. Don't go too hard because I do that sometimes as well. Don't go too far, and then you get defeated, and you're like, "Well, I'm just gonna go back to making excuses." Absolutely. No, like you literally have to do little things here and there. So, like even for my weight loss journey, I'm like 3 days a week. That's it. Everybody else is trying to start working out. I'm working out 7 days a week. Is that realistic?
Where's your rest day?
Where's your rest day? Do you plan to do that forever? I doubt it. Like, it's just, I'm just trying to be more realistic. And I feel like everybody should do that. And it would help them not to make excuses. Because then it's like, all right, I know I can commit to this.
Absolutely.
And you hold yourself to that. And then don't allow anything to change committing to that. Right. And I also feel like what also helps is, committing and understanding that you can do it. Mm-hmm. Like, you set it up that way because that's something that you can handle, something that you can do.
Absolutely.
And even when you don't feel like doing it, do it anyway. Mm-hmm. I have a whole episode entitled Do It Anyway. So it's like, that's really what it comes down to, because that's why we have excuses. It's like, I could do it, but I don't feel like doing it today. So then we make excuses. Don't do that. Right. Instead, I don't feel like doing it today, but I'm going to do it anyway because I committed to doing it.
And that goes right with Atomic Habits. Read Atomic Habits.
Child, they need to pay you for this.
But because I know I'm going because and it's not because it's going so hand in hand. That's the book I just finished before the book I'm on now. But I did see something on social media along the line, someone else's words. So if they see this, I'm not taking your words. I just don't know your name. But we tend to work harder when we have a negative impact that's in our head. For example, rather than I have to do this because, if you just change that word into if I don't do this, then and fill in the blank. So if I do not work out now, at the age that I'm at right now, when I'm older, my body's going to hurt. I'm going to keep gaining weight. I'm going to not look how I want to look. I'm not going to feel how I want to feel. I'm not going to look like these 40s that's happening now. You tell yourself what happens if you don't do the task. I've changed my mindset and those things, and it pushes me even harder. That's why I've been going to the gym. Because if I don't, my kids will outrun me. My kids, they better outlive me. But the quality of life I'll have while we're getting older, it's only going to deteriorate.
You know what ended up in my mind just now when you just said
what's that?
If I don't work out, I'll end up on my 500-pound life.
Or the big O. If y'all know what the O is, that everybody's taking nowadays. Yeah, that's just going to happen.
But that's what I mean. Is
but
like,
that's real. That's real.
Like, I'm either going to be on medication, or I'm going to end up on my 500 pounds.
And when you think of it that way, it sounds daunting, but it should.
It did sound daunting.
It pushes you to say, "I got to do something about this."
No, instantly when you said it like that, it was a thought, and I literally was like, if I thought like that every time, I don't think that there would be a day that I didn't feel like working out.
I think them burgers.
That's a good point.
Down, them solids will be picked up, and you just it's like really a.
But I love a walk with it. But at the same time,
you got it. It's all about quantity and limitation.
It is.
That's just the biggest thing. Just always tell yourself when you say what you need to do and why you want to do it. Mm-hmm. Remind yourself write it out because I'm so big.
I love that.
Write the vision and make it plain.
It's in the Bible.
You want it. Yes. You went right to it. Like, it's in the Bible. You go Google it. But you want it. If you then right under say, if I do not do whatever it is, then this is what will happen. You get to really see the reality of the motivation behind what you're doing and the consequences of not doing it. So
I love that.
Atomic Habits.
I'm really going to start thinking like that. That's a gym. That's a gym. Yeah,
that little switch does it. So
it did it for me sitting here.
You don't do this, you already said it. This will happen. You're overworked, you're overwhelmed, now you're last minute, you can't get to the next level of what God wants you to have and where He wants you to be. If I don't meal prep, throw that one back out there. I'm going to be on my toes the rest of this week trying to figure out what are we going to eat. Tell them to take out the chicken last minute. Nobody wants to live like that because the chicken's not taken out. No, everybody mad. There's nobody eating and I'm angry. So with that being said, it does work. Read the book. It gets into detail. It gives you nuggets that you can utilize starting the moment you read it.
I love that.
Yes.
That's a good job.
No excuses.
Yes. Okay, y'all. Guess what?
What?
That's right. It's Q&S time. Q&S stands for quote in scripture. This is time I set aside in the episodes to share a quote in scripture with you to encourage you throughout the week ahead. So, the quote that we're going to talk about today comes from Jen Sincero. And she said, you can have excuses or you can have success. You can't have both.
I love that quote.
So how are we breaking down and encouraging the people on this one?
I feel like that was a period. There was no comma. You can have excuses, you can have success, but you can't have both. So you got to decide which one is more important to you in whatever aspect of life. There's so many aspects of life. You're not just the this. You're not just the that. You know, you're not just a friend. You're not just a daughter. You're not just a hard worker. You're not just a podcaster.
Right.
You wear so many hats. We wear so many hats in life. We have to, I'm going to say it again, write down, make a plan for where we want to see our lives. I always say the 5-year plan is always the best way, and then start to work your way down. So then what has to be done by year 4, year 3, year 2, year 1? If you can know where you want to be, build your way up from there, you have 2 options. Get it done or let time go past. Because either way, time's going to go.
And that's the thing. I feel like also from this quote, I take away the fact that if we understand that there's nothing that God can't do, then why are we making excuses for why we can't do something? Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense. Right. Like, we're holding ourselves back because God's like, I can give you all of these things and so much more. Ephesians 3:20, exceedingly abundantly above all you could ask or think. Yes. But yeah, you're sitting there making all these excuses as to why you can't do all the things that he says that you can do. Right. And now you're just holding and stalling your success. You're holding and stalling the plan that you could have for yourself and your life and everything it is that God has for you. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. So, piggybacking off of what you were saying, like, it is coming down to a decision. You can't have excuses and then sit there and say, oh, I wish I was successful. You can be successful. You just have to get rid of success. Like, not success, but excuses. Absolutely. And I think that's what it comes down to. And I feel like that's kind of the place I'm at now. It's like, oh, I wish that all these things were happening, but it's like they can happen. You just have to stop procrastinating. You have to stop making excuses for why you're procrastinating. Like, it's just like, make it happen. Because I feel like sometimes God's waiting on us. And, he gives us everything we need. We just got to put it into action. That's it. I'm a firm believer. And it goes right back to habits. Yeah. What you do each and every day will show in some form or fashion. Mm-hmm. It may not show that day. It may not show that week. It may take a month. It may take a year. But you are the product of what you do day in and day out. So you can't do both. You got to cut these excuses. It is easier said than done. And it's okay to have slip-up moments because you're human. You're natural. If every day was peaches and cream, we would all be extremely successful in this world, right? In whatever way success looks like for that person. Right. It doesn't have to be financial. No. It doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be spiritual. You determine what your success is, and you just got to do it. But God definitely will give you the tools. Right. You definitely have to seek him first, because here's my thing, and I always say this in my prayer. God, give me your heart's desires for my life. Because sometimes what we want does not align with what he wants for us. So once it does, he will make the pathway for you, but he can't walk it for you. You got to still walk it and get things done. So I love how you said that. Yeah, because I feel like if he makes the path for us using excuses is just us sitting there. The door's open. We're just looking at it. And then even questioning sometimes. Is that the door he want me to go, like, or is a better one? Look at that door. Got everything I want behind it. Ain't that cute? It's just sitting there. That's it. Just making excuses. That's it. And it's so easy to be lazy nowadays. That's the hardest part. Is that they, whoever they are, they equip us to be lazy. Yeah. They equip us to do nothing. They equip us to rely on technology. They equip us to be comfortable and complacent and mediocrity. Yeah. And that's okay if that's what you want for you. Yeah. If that is your happiness and that's where your comfort is, have at it and Godspeed. But for those who want success and those who want more, that's what this is for. And those who want to be better. Yeah. Excuses most likely are the reason that you're not where you want to be. And it will always tie back to your habits. So what are you doing? And it's all types of excuses. I mean, even talking about how old you are. Whew. You know, that's a big one. I'm too old to be like you. Whoa, as long as Pastor Hannah says this all the time, as long as God still has breath in your body, yes, and he allows you to see another day, it is not too late to start whatever it is that you want to do. If you are 75 and you did not graduate from college, go finish. And that's ironic that you said that. Go start an event today. The lady said, I just became a doula. And I would like you all to know I'm 75 years young. That's what I mean. I'm like, and when she said it that moment, what you just said was, age. First of all, she didn't look 75. What does 75 look like? Not her. But when I saw her, she looked great.
but you could tell she was still enjoying life.
Yeah.
She was still living. That to me was like and I talk about, I don't want to spend all these years back in school because of my age, but my mom says it all the time. For as long as you are alive, that time is going to go past no matter what. So you can either invest it into your future or you can waste it and watch your past. You decide.
And it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Because you'll never know.
Right.
Like, for all you know, this woman that Nia just talked about is probably an amazing doula. But she could go ahead, be 85, 10 years later, sitting there being like, yeah, I always wanted to be a doula. I wish I was a doula.
Right.
Like, why not just do it? Right. Nobody said that you're too old. You're the one that's telling yourself that you're too old.
You said that you're too old.
Exactly.
That's it.
So there's no age limit in getting college?
No.
As far as I know.
Not an age limit for anything. Even getting healthy. Getting fit.
Period.
That's it.
That part.
No.
Yeah.
Girl.
So definitely choose success or excuses, but you can't have both. So the scripture I chose for this week is from Proverbs chapter 14, verse 23, and I'm reading from the NIV, and it says, all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty.
I thought I got a lesson from you today, girl. Oh, man. I need to say that one again. Hold on.
I'm going to read it again for Nia. Okay. All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. What I get from that is don't talk about it, be about it. That's what I got.
Period. I don't got nothing else to add to that.
Because sometimes, the Bible, we get fixed on all these different words and we feel like it's not relatable. It's relatable to the sayings that we always say. Don't talk about it, be about it. If you're not being about it, you are not going to experience any profits.
That's it.
No fruit.
That's it.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Dry.
Except for words.
Dryness, like a desert. That's it. But it's like we go ahead and we actually put in the work. We actually do things. Then God is going to bless that.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be fruitful. It's going to multiply. And that should always be our goal.
I have nothing I could add to that. You took the words. Stop talking. It's all in the action. That's it.
And there's a lot of people that just like to talk about things.
Oh my gosh. And they will tell you what they doing, how they going to do it, who they going to do it with. And then what ends up happening? They do nothing.
Nothing.
That's it.
Wow.
Or in fact, even with that, when you talk to the wrong people, you don't know what kind of seeds they're going to sow on your plans and on your desires and your goals and your dreams and aspirations. So I'm a firm believer, and you know this. You know I don't talk unless it's time to talk. My closest friend, she will find out at a certain point because I'm a firm believer. Certain things you do have to hold close. And if it's I'm talking about when you have those dreams and those goals, right? You do want to sometimes share for accountability. It's great to have an accountability partner.
Absolutely.
In any and everything you do. Someone to be there that encourages you, that you know is in your corner. But it's nothing. Loose lips sink ships. Talking in so many aspects, I just feel like it can come to our demise.
Yeah, I agree.
So how about we just show it, be about it. I love the way you said it. Don't talk about it, be about it. And let it speak for itself.
I love it.
I love this too.
That's good.
Yes, no, that was great. You hit it. You did that.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Drop the mic. She did that.
Yeah, she dropped it.
I hope that makes you
So, I just want to take our time to thank my girl Nia for being here. It was fun.
No, it was. Yo, I feel like we just talked. Like, I was nervous, and you're like, no, it's just like a conversation, just with mics and a camera and this. And, it adds a little layer. So, but it's authentic.
No,
it really, that is the realest thing, because you started this podcast. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
When you started, I remember the first episode when you say, which you kept it going for people to get the recap, but you want people to feel like they have that friend. And you genuinely have been that friend that you're giving to others that don't even know you, but she's real, y'all. She's the real deal. She's the definition of a friend. You show up. You don't just show up, you show out. You don't count it robbery. You give your friends grace. You have a big heart full of love.
Thank you.
Beyond caring. and resourceful and knowledgeable and humble. This is everything that you will want in a friend. And I am blessed to have you as a friend. I'm grateful that you invited me to the show. And they just get to see us be us. I mean, and it's even crazier if we didn't have to keep it together. But with that being said, that's behind the scenes. But thank you.
Yeah, thank absolutely. You.
Yes.
So before y'all go, I just want to remind you to not make excuses. There are so many ways that we could make excuses, so many reasons why, so many elements in your lives. You have your father, you don't have your father. You have your mother, you don't have your mother. People are choosing not to be in your life. They're trying to tear you apart. So many different things. But at the end of the day, you get to choose, what you do with it. Either you internalize it and allow it to stop you from becoming everything it is that God has for you, or you're going to go ahead and decide to push through in spite of everything that's going on around you. So at the end of the day, stop making excuses. See you guys later.
I know what you're telling me the truth. I'd rather have all your weight removed. You wonder why I don't let you in, because I got better things to do. Better things. Better things. Moving on to bigger and better things. Then do the worst, send me better things. If you knew better, you would do better.